Hey everybody, this is Ray Flick, television beat writer for Bleeding Cool, coming to you with a little different thing than I normally do. Usually I'm on here doing television recaps, reviews, and stuff like that. But I had a chance this year to check out the 2018 Tribeca Film Festival, and one of the things that I got to do was to be able to attend the Shadow of the Tomb Raider event. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying, and I'm going to go into more detail in a second, I am not a gamer. So you are going to be getting a non-gamer press perspective on the event. So I'm going to be going off on some tangents, and I'm going to be starting off some stuff, and they may get you going, okay, when are you going to talk about the game? But I am going to talk about the game. But if you're really looking for some hardcore overview thoughts and everything else about Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I highly, strongly, completely, totally, utterly recommend, if you haven't done so already, look above this video. You're going to see where Madeline, our Bleeding Cool's head games writer, has really two great write-ups, not only about the overview of the trailer and what the game's going to be about, but also really detailed information about the demo that I got a chance to see afterwards. And again, I'm going to be giving you a non-gamer perspective on it, but just what my thoughts are on if it's a game that's worthy of somebody like me who doesn't normally play, would be interested in playing the game. So just want to put that out there. Now, again, in the interest of fairness, because I can't emphasize this enough, let me give you a little bit of my video game background. I'm not a gamer. I have nothing against video games. I have a ton of respect for the artistry, for the music, for the writing, and everything else that goes into it. I had a chance to sit through both the Shadow of the Tomb Raider and God of War panel, and I got a really deep appreciation for the work that goes on all sides and all around the motion capture cameras. So again, I have a lot of respect for it. It's just an area, kind of like anime, where I haven't just really spent a lot of time. My back knowledge, I was a wicked Atari 2600 player. I know everybody's kind of rolling their eyes right now. I used to rock Cyborg Justice on the Sega Genesis hardcore. No one could touch me in Mortal Kombat. Throw in Zaxxon, throw in Tempest, that's where I'm going. Phone-wise, major mayhem. I know everybody's right now is probably like, what? Again, not claiming to be a gamer. I'm going to be giving you a non-gamer perspective and a press perspective to give you a full well-roundedness of what the experience was like. So again, just preface this, because I know somebody's going to comment and it's going to go, you're not a gamer, how can you? I said I wasn't a gamer, so you're getting the everyday person. I'm essentially, from a focus group product knowledge standpoint, am I that non-gamer you could reach to actually try and check out this game? So I'm going to look at it from that perspective. But I've taken notes, folks, because I also had some interesting observations from a press perspective that I'd like to share with you guys before we get into the game demo. Things like, for example, having never worked a gaming event before in my entire life, it's interesting because it really, I actually heard a conversation at one point where the person, I want to make sure I get this right, was literally saying to the person, up, up, down, down, left trigger, right trigger, X. The person responded with a series of other sequence controllers. Now, I'm not an idiot. I know, I kind of know what they're talking about in regards to the controllers and everything else. There's nothing else that I've ever run into covering any of their press coverage. I thought it was fascinating. Doing Comic-Cons, doing pop culture, art gallery openings, things like that, you can always, that's just one of those conversations where I just, thank God I wasn't in it, because if they had any point ever turned to me and be like, well, what do you think? I think I probably would have just thrown something in the corner and said, look over there, and just run out of the room. So, first observation. Second, as somebody who wears glasses, and you may not, because I generally don't wear them, it's not because I have anything against them, I just don't like the way the light reflects on them and it shows up on the camera, but that's beside the point. But it was very heartening, actually. I felt at home because it felt like 3 out of every 4 people that were in the press pit area had glasses, so I felt like, oh, we have this shared commonality in poor bad vision as we were growing up. Yeah, me, like back in the Stone Day, okay. The Yonder phone bags, they did something kind of cool, but that was also really sadistic. They didn't take our phones. They put our phones in these Yonder bags that essentially keep everything and anything under the sun from getting them until they get opened up when you go back out into the lobby, which I thought was a really cool concept, but it's also torturous because at least if you have my phone, I mean, yeah, there's always the paranoia of getting your phone back, but when I have my phone and can't use it, wow, I don't realize how much I really use it for the time and things like that. And my tablet had to be shut off because they didn't have a bag big enough, but I had to shut it off in front of them to see, which, again, I can respect. But wow, it was just like, it was funny watching everybody kind of fumbling around with their Yonder bags, like, oh, if I could only get in here for 2 seconds. But again, I thought that was a nice touch, though. From the company standpoint, it's less hassle for them because they don't have the responsibility of holding them. So I'd like to see more places use that. I thought that was very cool. The other thing, in the press area, no Avengers Infinity War talk. I heard talk about the Tomb Raider movie, Ready Player One, Pacific Rim Uprising. I even heard a really cool conversation between 2 women about Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I just was really fun. It just, was a nice breath of fresh air from what's been going on this week. Just gonna put that out there. Also, there was somebody, I am certain, and if somebody can confirm this for me, but I think there was somebody at the event who was cosplaying as Floyd Mayweather. He looked like Floyd Mayweather. He had a TMZ hat. He had a heavyweight belt that looked like it was a boxing heavyweight belt, and he just kind of had the mannerisms and everything. I don't. If it was Floyd Mayweather, please somebody let me know. If it wasn't, I'd be really curious. I kind of need that answered. I like how no one in the press pit is just press. It seems like everybody works 3.8 jobs. And the other thing too is we say writer, write, or writing way too many times when we're talking to one another. If it was a drinking game, I would be having my stomach pumped, I'd say, by the second or third conversation that I was listening to. So I was fascinated by that. Special select message to my fellow white people out there. When you say just spittin' knowledge, it sounds painful. Please don't. There was just literally this moment, and I heard this voice in this, and it wasn't done in a mocking way. It was meant to, in conversation, it was just like, just spitting knowledge. And I just completely clenched. I wanted to literally just melt into the seat. So just a side note, wow. The other thing too is, and this I want to make sure I get right. I was listening to a couple of people behind me talking about the whole situation that was going on with FanCon, and it made me realize that the only group less skilled to hold a big mega convention than a group of fans getting together to do it would be to get a group of press people together to do it, because I realize nobody really understands the concept of event planning, organizing, or anything like that. And finally, before I get to the game, this was almost titled Getting High Off an Orange Sharpie, because between the temperature, the lighting, and everything else, but I'm going to be honest with you, I totally forgot about the whole smell of Sharpie in a warm room and kind of what it does to me. I found myself nodding off 5 times before it started, and that never happens to me at the event. And the only thing that I can see that is different from everything else is the Sharpie. So yeah, I'm not sure that was a particularly smart move. So, okay, that gets us up to the gaming itself. The game presentation itself, demo I loved, and we're going to get into that into the second. A couple of things that came up, and they're going to bookend from the presentation that I thought were real highlights, because a lot of it was pretty good information, but a lot of standard information. But I like the idea when they say what it means to be a Croft is what the game is about. That this game establishes Lara Croft's place in the world as it moves from Tomb Raider to Rise of the Tomb Raider to Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I thought that was a really nice way they put it. The demo scene that we saw starts in Cozumel, Mexico. Again, I'm not going to go detail for detail on this one, because I bow and highly recommend that you go check out the links that are on this page as you're watching it, or if you're watching on YouTube, go to bleedingcool.com. Check out Madeline's reports on it, because they're dramatically better. But the crowd loved, for example, when Lara's first wearing the De Los Muertos mask. The crowd had a really strong reaction to that. The crowd also had a great laughing strong reaction. There was one scene for a moment where Lara Croft's butt basically took up like half the entire screen, and there was just kind of an unexpected moment of laughter there, so I thought it was pretty good. One thing that kind of came to my mind was at the digging site where Trinity is set up. There were some crowd and some worker voices and things like that. It got to me because it reminded me of a lot of bad American anime dubbing. So that kind of took me out of it for a little bit. But the footage and overall itself, axe climbing is insane. The just from what I can see of the physics of it and the way the camera angles are working in regards to how you are climbing and utilizing not just the axe climbing, the rope running and everything else. It had my, and again on the big screen it particularly helps. But it just had my head spinning in all the right ways. I was really impressed with it. The underwater, I've been told there was a lot of push for there to be a better emphasis for underwater. If there was a big push, I'm assuming this was a big upgrade. Because the underwater scenes, just they dragged me in. They had me, as somebody who has this issue with drowning to begin with, I literally was feeling my lungs and my heart starting to go on the one scene where she almost doesn't make it out to the air. I just thought that was really, really fantastic on a number of levels. Lara's kill moves, wow. Again, again, not familiar with the games or the trilogy, just from a news covering standpoint. Her kill moves are insane, and her ability to do things like distractions and having her varying options. Again, as someone who didn't play the game, I don't know how dramatic of an improvement it is, but it just, for lack of a better phrase, Lara Croft looks so righteously badass in this video game, not just in the trailer, but also in the demo that I've seen. It's something that would hook me in, and I guess that's what I really want to say from this perspective. From the demo I saw, strong storyline, strong characters. Again, the main vocal casting I think is very strong, and that I think for me, whether it's this or animation or anything else, that either makes or break a project like this. So that really had me interested. I from what I've known of the storyline without knowing all three parts, storyline's very intriguing also. The in-game playing aspects I thought were just incredible, just really, really incredible. Very curious to see how it looks when September rolls around in its entirety. But as a new gamer, as somebody who hasn't owned a console in a while, would this be a game that I would consider getting to get a console? It absolutely would. It absolutely would. And it's, again, I've always been interested and loved the Tomb Raider franchise, but there's something about this game that was like, all right, I think I would go through the steps necessary to totally not kill her within 10 seconds after I start playing her. It just, I was really, really impressed. And again, this isn't from, I want to say this, and again, it's not to bash the presentation, because I thought the Q&A was very good and I thought it was very strong, and I love seeing the demo. But I can't emphasize enough, and it's not self-serving for me to say this, so it's not shameless plugging or self-promotion. The two posts that Madeline wrote were ones that really, even after the presentation, gave me a deeper understanding of what it was I saw and made me appreciate it even more. So I can't recommend that enough. So the fact that I'm a non-gamer and the presentation and two posts from one of my fellow writers has me hooked in this game, I think says a lot about the potential for the game. And so far, so good. Again, from my standpoint, I hope you guys enjoy or like the game, and if you don't, please let me know what you thought. I don't know if the footage by this point will have been screened or not, but give me an idea on what you were thinking about it. I'd be very curious to see. Like I said, newbie here, venturing into unknown territory. So a couple of last things that were also brought up. I like the fact that they emphasize that this is essentially Lara becoming the jungle at this point. It's not about so much her learning her skills or even honing her skills. It's how her skills blend in with the wildness that's around her. And the fact that she's now getting to the point where she has to choose to be between being a hero and a tyrant. And the end flood scene of that demo, I think, speaks volumes about that. I think it really does. And the other thing they want to emphasize is there's a lot of open experience in the game. And because from what I understand, and there's been some talk online, is, is it all just these big whopping cinematic moments? And that, no, there's a lot of openness to the game. That was something they really wanted to emphasize too. So again, first video game panel presentation I have ever covered. Got a lot out of it, both from press as well as from a non-gamer. I really enjoyed it, actually. It was a really fun experience across the board. I hope you guys have got a little something out of this to kind of well round out your experience from somebody who is a non-gamer but interested in dabbling. Again, my name is Ray Fluke, television beat writer for Bleeding Cool. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and make sure you check out bleedingcool.com for all the cool stuff we have going on across the pop culture landscape. It's not just video games. We got television, we got films, we got comic books, we got collectibles, we got anything and everything under the sun. So make sure, again, you check out bleedingcool.com, and I'll see you guys on the inner tubes. Enjoy the rest of what remains of this weekend, folks, and I hope you guys have a great start to your week. Take care.